views and opinions expressed on Free Island Republic Radio are entirely those of the hosts, guests, and callers who are fully responsible for all show content and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of WISL or its staff. Visit our page on peaceislandmaine.org for details.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Alexander Ellison. Be strong. Stand up for yourself. I don't know how else to say this clearly to you folks. The Spanish crown wants your bodily fluids. Listen up, folks. Are you absolutely sick of these dang flying, farting jellyfish that have been floating all over the woods for the past few weeks? Think you can handle them, folks? Oh, beware! They will come a-roding. They will come at you so close. You're going to need it, preferably from behind you, and prepare to shoot them. Heed my words. There's a reason reports of these fiends isn't on the front page of the Current. But that shouldn't surprise anyone. The answer is staring you right in the face. In the latest issue of Comer, which if you folks didn't know, is the #1 food blog in the Iberian Peninsula, Asian cuisine has recently become quite popular in the salons of the rich and powerful over there in Madrid. And wouldn't you know, one of the most popular dishes over there is, you guessed it, jellyfish salad. Am I making sense to you yet? Is it sinking in? Don't be surprised at all when our beloved cathedral woods are absolutely overrun with saffron-toting coralists looking for tapas. That's all I'm saying, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, XJ is in the process of installing a closed-circuit television camera surveillance system that should give a good overview of the Republic. Nothing is getting past us, people. You mark my words. Patriots, the Republic needs you. Look to your left. Now, look to your right. Do you see any toilets? If so, haul them to the eastern borders of the Republic, and we'll not only give them a home, we'll give them a cause. Visit freeislandrepublic.org for details. Now, folks, if you're like me, if I'm in, a foreign territory, so to speak, I've seen mice walking up and down the street like thugs all day long. Oh, now don't worry, I can defend myself. These mice wouldn't know who to attack or what to do with Xander A. Ellison. You can bank on that. Now, the logical question we all must face is, are these mice being used yet again as remotely controlled agents by the Spanish crown? Thanks to the documents obtained from sources close to the occupying power, I can report the last time that so-called minister reported on an infestation.
Be quiet. Just yeah, you. All right. Alrighty, guys. I guess you guys can hear me. I'm gonna see if I can bring everything over here again. Howdy to everyone. Let me see if I can get my camera, because of course you absolutely must witness the glory of this studio here and my hideous face. And I'm wearing headphones this year a week because I can actually have music playing and hear stuff in the background while I'm talking to you guys. So let me see, how many people do we have here? We have 3 people. Oh wow. Let's just go straight to showing off the demo. Ba, ba, ba. Da, 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 da. I did the build this is a build hot off the press, as it were. Set it to construct just right before Laura and I went down to the grocery store to pick up, the usual supplies. Let's see here. Okay. All right, let's see. Okay. We're just going to open this up. Yeah. Hopefully we can get that opening scene. Okay. Is it okay? Mike. All right, hold on for a moment, guys. No, that's not that. I just actually want to bring up the audio a bit, but the thing is we seem to be having an issue here, and that is not a good thing. I really wanted to show you guys this build this evening, but it seems that the main menu is unfortunately not working. I am just going to send a quick text over to find out why that is. Thank you for your patience, guys. Okay, the opening menu does not work. Oh well. You know what? I could still show you the game. It's just that unfortunately it's going to be inside of the editor. Sorry about this, guys. It just seems to happen a bit. Just give me a moment to boot up Unity, if you'll pardon me. So, let's see. While that's happening, I'm just going to, I am show off inside editor, which will not place. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Just wanted to send a message to the guys at the Who Crew who sent the build. So, let's see. We have 4 people. Some people are set here again here. Arjuna, we'll see. The build, unfortunately, is non-viable. We're going to try and play it inside of the editor. And, while that's loading up, I'll just lean back and take a deep breath and say, hey, that's no big thing. Heavens. It's just odd. And say, hey, I hope that everybody is staying safe and staying indoors. At least this week I'm going to be able to show it off to you inside the editor. I wasn't even able to do that for you last week. I again apologize for this happening. I'm pretty sure that somebody's looking into it right now. So, how are things going with you guys? I'm supposing you still can hear me. Let me just check. I got to keep an eye on those audio levels. Yeah. Me. Oh yeah, that's probably why it doesn't function. You see, that particular menu had to be placed behind another menu, and unfortunately, I see why that happened. It's unfortunate that it did, but hey, there you go. Let's see. So, is everybody stocked up well on toilet tissue? On food? Cans of delicious food. Let's see here. Just going to get rid of that and move my editor window over here. And, Scotty keeps on telling me, hey, there are presets you can set inside of this thing, but I'm just too lazy to figure out how to do that. I'm too lazy and too old. So just give me a moment while I set this up. And I'm actually going to see if I can make this full screen. Hope you guys don't mind if I'm just going to scale it down so you can't get as much widescreen as you can in there. I'm going to get my ugly mug out of the way. Put that down there. Okay. Unfortunately, in this version that's playing inside the editor, the performance is not going to be as smooth as it would be inside of the external player, but you're going to be able to see some stuff and some new stuff. And let's see here. I'm going to just set that on maximize. Okay. Go. make sure. Make sure I'm in the right scene. Yes, I am. Cool. I'm just going to let that play. And the first time it compiles is going to take a couple minutes. Let me see. I'm good on toilet paper, but ramen is running low. Is that what it says? Because it's by my window. I should really do something. Let me just shrink that down just a bit. Ramen is running low. I know the feeling. And the other day, actually, this is sort of off topic, but while we're waiting for it to load, I might as well talk. I figure if there's one market in Portland that's going to be very fastidious about its cleanliness, it's going to be the Asian market down, down by St. John's at the base of the hill. And indeed, it was clean. It was just very surreal. They had turned off the music. They usually play like very loud, obnoxious, like American classical music, like John Philip Sousa at full blast all day. But this time it was absolutely quiet. I was the only one in the place. But they had just the perfect ramen. Maybe I should. I'll do a recommendation, a free plug for my favorite for this ramen. But as you can see here, it's going to take unfortunately a minute also to load. As you see, as it plays, as it goes inside the player. And it's still not done loading, as you can see. But we were finally able to get the fog working properly. Oh, and I got mute audio on. Hold on for a moment. Okay, we got some audio, and that means I could play. A bit higher. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Let's see here. And you see, Yuri? We got the menu working there. And actually, let's just see here for a moment. I believe what I'm going to do, options. Let's see, here we go, master. Yeah, we're still hooking that up, it seems. But you can see here, we got that working. But we're going to resume here. And I thought I had thinned out those God rays there. It's a little bit J.J. Abrams, a little bit dazzling there. But, that one I'm going to just blame on myself. I can't blame anyone but myself. I've been doing. And you see here, because it's playing inside the editor, we're going to have these lags. These lags don't exist when within within standalone. So, there we go. You see, right now it just takes a couple seconds to load these little lags we got going here. And by the way, the new controller is coming with the new animations and the new cat models. And, well, not new cat models, but the new animations. And the motion's going to be a heck of a lot more smooth in those. And hopefully later on, I'm going to be able to show you an example of the IK, just like a QuickTime movie we have, or an MP4. It's really cool. Just how he's got it working. I mean, it was another case of this guy just taking, looks like the transparencies on a few of those bicycles there are still a little bit. That's cool. And by the way, the soundtrack, just like everything, can I say, I mean, we all do work at home. And as a result of like self-quarantining and everything, I mean, unfortunately, things are still a little bit behind schedule. And one of those things is getting the new soundtrack in. But anyway, as I was mentioning the controller and so on. You see, basically, we were waiting for Brett, our superstar IK guy, to finish up his work on making sure that all the paws fit properly. After that, we sent that new rig off to our animator, and she is in the process right now of producing all of the new animations using this new rig with the IK. After that's done, Arjuna, the guy who's been creating these great textures for the game, is going to be taking a break from doing textures, and is going to make sure that all the the IK and the new animations work within this new within the controller in time for the beta and such. And see, we still have a little bit of loading lag. That is because this is again inside the editor. But let me see here. As you can see, Arjuna's been really redoing all the textures. If you look closely at that church side up there, I mean, it's genuine wood as opposed to just, you know, a two-dimensional just map. And he's got some good vinyl siding on the school there. Let me see. We've gone to this place so many times. Let me see if I can skip to another cat here. Oh, yes, I can. Oh! Hold on. You see, it had to load the entire world around the cat really there. Actually, can I just say, in the standalone player, he's got that down to Mike B, the guy, Mike Bonifade. He just has blown my mind with how quick it's getting. Just transferred between scenes. We're like Skyrim quick. We have a little bit of, if you see in the distance there, the fog, we have a little bit of a haloing effect right there on those trees. But that's all on me. You know, I'm going to have to take a look at that. I've only recently started addressing these atmospheric things, just making sure that the fog was functioning properly. I have a feeling that, you know, that odd effect there, if I can only describe it, it's like the trees have fog, but the sky does not. And perhaps the sky is on a layer, skybox is on a layer that is, that the fog effect is not referencing. Again, just another box, but I'm not going to put you through that. But trust me, when these cats, I mean, I'm really looking forward to the next alpha, getting those in. That's, again, it's really cool that we work in a business that, you know, the sequestration really isn't hurting all this, all that so much. Self-sequestering. Huh. Was it F, E, Q? Oh, yeah, these are the old models. Oh, also, I just want to say, this is something you, it's sort of like something you really wouldn't notice because you think, oh my goodness, hadn't they done that by now? But over the past couple of weeks, Richard, the guy who's been doing all the great AI for basically all the NPCs in the game, he has taken some time off to do the colliders. So we have a heck of a lot less of, let me see here, that. I mean, still, at least the cat stops. That's just a matter of adjusting the collider in there. But at least now we do have those working, and that's awesome. And then, as a result of that, it looks like Sushi here, or Lizzie, is not going to be able to get out of this, out of Greenwood Farms. Oh, and Arjuna, if you're paying attention, that building right up here, Arjuna was asking, I'm just going to take if you didn't know, this used to be a old amusement park. This is all woods at one time about, you know, back in the day, about, you know, turn of the century. But during World War II, well, you know, tourist trade sort of dried up, shall they say. And since the biggest farm on the island had been just basically blown to all smithereens, they decided to, you know, just pick up the slack, take lemons and make lemonade. But some of the old structures from the old amusement park are here. And I think this is what Arjuna was mentioning here. He said, oh, look at this stump. That's my fault right there. I need to adjust a couple of spawner things, because tree stump should be in the middle of the road. Stupid stump. Idiot. Anyway, this is actually an old movie theater from back in the day. Eventually, that's going to have that. Look at those. Too many god rays. Too much god rays. Well, let me see. We're going to switch to another cat. I think if we get to Liz. Okay. And we finally got the size of the chickens adjusted. Can you see there? Remember, for the longest time, they were like Cornish hens? Oh, you can hear them. Except, you know, maybe, well, actually, chickens aren't about that size. Big old chickens. The ones out on Peaks Island are humongous. We still have a little bit of floatage there. Odd. Hey. Well, that's the thing. They're over by the Ellison place. You don't know what's going on over there. Bunch of craziness. You better stay away from the old Ellison place. That's where the chickens fly through the air. Oh, my. One of these days, you're going to find out what's going on over here. Trust me. And by the way, this time, last time, Arjuna's textures did not look as well because we were using a redundant render stack, post-render effect stack. It was just stupid. We got rid of that, and it led to better performance overall. And his textures, you know, looked as they should again. I had a brief love affair with this one filter. But now, one thing we still have not really, because it's not required for the beta, but this area here. Battery Hamlin. We started on the interior of that, but, you know, that's one of those interiors that's so pivotal in the game. I'm sort of glad that we only have it down on paper. Let's see here. Let's see. One of these days, we're going to get that camera collider working. It's going to be a little bit less confusing here. And I got to get this path worked out properly. Got to get those roads working. By the way, I told you that this is like a modeled... Jeez, where am I? I'm lost on top of this. After a real World War II battery out on Peaks Island. And it is literally like this. When you crawl on top of the battery, you're surrounded by trees and overgrowth on both sides. And it's actually a really nice place. Just go out and go onto one of these cupolas here and just watch, you know, watch the sunset. Oops, oh, collider issue. Sorry about that. Jeez. And by the way, I'm gonna, you know, I should be reading your questions, and I'm gonna get to them in a minute. But I'm just gonna enjoy walking around here because here's the thing. Sad news, they had a coronavirus case out on Peaks Island, which is the island here in Maine, on which much of this game is based. And quite frankly, it looks like, oh, the geese are on their way there. I'm not going to be able to go out there in a while. So I gotta, you know, this is my, I don't know, the closest I'm going to be able to get to going to one of my favorite places for a while. Oh, boy. It's sad. Buddhist. Oh, scratching post there. And we're just going up here, by the way, just to another place where there's that old, remnants of the old amusement park. Yeah, up here. Further up there is the aquarium. Or is this the aquarium? I'd have to look at the old tourist map. We still have a little bit of a popping issue there, you know, on there. It's shitting the sea over on the right side, but, you know, it looks a heck of a lot better than it did. And every day it's getting better, and we're still having these loading issues. It's all grand. Let's see. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take us back to this guy here. Oh, he's probably up in the woods still. And I'm going to see if I have any questions over on this monitor. So you're going to enjoy that great shot of my neck that you always get about 3 minutes of during these. So give me a second. Oh, yes. Chain link, yes, Arjuna did the new chain link fences. Really, the game looks so much better in the, like, urbanized areas than it did before. Even though, well, no, you see, that the magenta up there, sort of in the center of your screen there, that's on the museum. And the museum is a troublesome structure. But trust me, we'll have it resolved by the end of the month. We're back downtown. Yeah, we unfortunately had to lose our anti-aliasing here, but really that would just slow things down further within the editor. And it seems we're having issues with the temporal anti-aliasing we're using. It's a real shame because I loved the way it made things. I mean, you didn't have these. If you take a look here, you see those little white sparklies? It's like just like little white spots popping in and out on the cat there. That isn't a texture issue. That's just an issue of the specularity, basically the shininess of the hair of the individual cat hairs is just not processing. Well, it's processing kind of chunkily. It's not doing any like really fine blends. Oh boy, I remember a day. I remember a day. Jeez. Sorry about these legs, guys. I'm going to be so glad when we get a new soundtrack. I'm just getting so bored with it. But when we started this building over here, the greenhouses, they just sort of looked like they were made out of green plastic, PVC plastic. Now they look like actual like glass, which is awesome. And if you look over here, you see those like really chunky parts of the top, the jagged top of the pots there. Anti-aliasing was supposed to take care of that, but it broke our hearts. All right. And again, the controller, just that you're going to have a completely brand new, hopefully, controller by the end of the month. I believe that Kayla said she's going to be delivering the new animations this next week. So, yeah. We're sort of circling the wagons at this point. And by the way, don't ever cough into your hand. Don't do like Uncle Eric does. Do like President Obama taught you. Let's see, cough into your elbow. I looked over there and I didn't see any questions, so we're just gonna, take our usual tour around the island, see how things look. Here's, oh yeah, you did the new benches, which are so much better than the way they looked before. Before they looked like something out of The Sims. It was sort of frightening. Oh yeah, there are the gulls at twilight. Let's see if we can find a part of the island with a little bit less melancholy soundtrack. Now, when night falls, I think... we could just wait here in the forest for a bit. Oh! Do we hit a collider there? Hold on. Yeah. Curious. Curious. Wow. I think there may just be some little slight error in the gap between the terrains, and it was interpreting that as a collider. Well, actually, terrains are a collider, so it's only natural that it would do that. I fine-tuned, let me see some bloom, and the depth of field. It felt, oh god, I really hate the flying grass. That's next. That's next on my list, for my personal list. Also, new roads coming up in the next alpha. Hopefully we get those in over the next couple of weeks. We've already got those set and new terrain deformed and ready to go. We'll call it Johnny Deformed. In fact, this already looks like it may be the deformed terrain. It just doesn't have the roads on top of it. Boy, that sun bloom, I'm going to have to see if I can decrease that on the sun. It's a little bit powerful. Loading. Sorry, guys. Any questions, guys, by the way? I'm just sitting here and rambling on and on. I could see we have like about 8 people here. Do you guys have any questions or things that you want to know? Basically, this is... If you remember the last livecast I had, I wanted to do a new one because the last livecast, I was coughing like a lunatic, like half the time. I sounded like just like a wandering ball of COVID that just happened to figure out how to operate a webcam, and I just wanted to prove to you that I'm not deathly ill, and heavens. We've been just staying indoors, and working on this. I have been playing Red Dead Redemption, by the way, too. Absolutely, can I just say, best graphics I've seen in a game. People, especially certain social media managers I know, pointed out that I tend to be very negative about games, but let me tell you that I really like the job they did on Red Dead Redemption 2. The graphics are just unbelievable. The AI is hilarious sometimes, if you know how to spin it to your advantage, And I don't know, it was just kind of cool that, I mean, when I was in the area, there's this one part called New something, and it's supposed to be like Maine, and goodness gracious, it did look like, probably any mill town did about 100 years ago, complete with like, oil slicks on the water and chemical spillage and horrible, workers' housing. Yeah, wow. Good job, guys, on that. And when Kayla does the idols, I'm going to lean on her to make them a little bit more active. I mean, really. We don't seem to be able to get into the control mode. One of the things that I was hoping on getting... Oh, there, I did it again. Was to get in hunting mode vision in time for the next alpha. But, again, we're sort of circling the wagons. We're right now just trying to figure out... You see, it's having to load for a second there before it allows the kitty to go forward. All right. We're sort of circling the wagons right now and just making sure that what we have works as well as it can before we release next alpha. Then producing new content for it. We still have to figure out climbing. Oh, goodness. Geese, stay away from me, idiots. Yeah, cry. Yeah, and I really want to spend an intensive week just messing with this grass. It's a little bit too lurid. Now, I hate to say, here's the thing. Arjuna, you're going to like hearing this. Your textures are so, just realistic that the sort of idealized flora in certain sections just sort of sticks out like a sore thumb. We're going to have to, I don't know, make it a little bit more real. And make sure that it is not growing out of mid-air. My goodness. Again, that's going to be a week of intense work for me. Probably that'll be how I spend next week. Just going over all of this. By the way, I'm heading up to the Ellison place again. We've come almost full circle. Another apartment thing over here. Oh, and by the way, man, I can't imagine the kind of year that Peaks Island is going to have, because the island, there are other industries out there, but they do depend on basically summer rentals and vacation people vacationers. And geez, one of the guys out there, the last time I visited Peaks Island was about a month before it went into lockdown. And one of the guys who was building a hotel out there had just started expanding and doubling the size. And they had just broken ground, and just the first whisperings of what's going on was kind of starting. And oh my God, that guy, or that woman, those people, I hope they, they made the mistake of hoping for the best without preparing for the worst. Anyway, bless them. I hope they're there next year. I just hope they don't expand their hotel. I was kind of cheesed when I saw them doing that. Did I turn around? Sometimes I get lost here. I think I just turned around. Oh no! Yeah, here I am in downtown. Yeah. Actually, I didn't go to the old Ellison place. This is, what is it, B? Yeah, it's B Avenue. But soundtrack isn't going to be in the next alpha, but we will get the radio station working. And if you were listening from the very beginning of this, and you can rewind and listen to it, I had a little bit of the, goodness gracious, I'm a bad example. Example of the Alexander Ellison Free Island Republic radio broadcast. Again, the Alex Jones impersonator, I really wanted to, impersonate Alex Jones in that podcast, but he did. He was just sterling. there are a few structures that still need a little bit of a going over. And really what we want to do, again, this beta stuff, is we want to give the ground a little bit of a going over. Look how drab that is. I mean, that should be a little bit more vibrant. That would definitely make sure. I'm wondering if I should just go through the, terrains and just, do the old-fashioned painter way. And yeah, you just saw the chickens pass through. The chickens have a collider issue. Now, I'm wondering, I bet if I wandered through the woods here, we'd encounter a deer. Let's see if we can. I'm going to head back up to the radio tower. Old World War II. Actually, it was a spotting tower. It's not a radio tower. Let's see. Look to your left. Do you see toilets? Oh, yes. I sat for hours. I felt like, somebody trying to compose, like Salieri trying to make a symphony, writing the dialogue about the toilet garden. I was just like, oh, it just doesn't soar. And it may have to be revised in the future. There will be more Alexander Ellison. There's going to hopefully be more, there will be more Richard Hensel in there. From what I mean, he's a work from home guy. So and he's smart as all hell. So I'm pretty sure he's taking care of himself. In fact, the only thing keeping me from getting him to do more stuff is, again, over the next month, we're focusing on just making sure that what we have works, rather than adding new stuff. So, let's see. Connor Monroe? Okay, cool. Where are you working, Connor? In between meetings? Yeah, I guess you're a freelancer. Now, I just wanted to point out here, one of the persistent issues here is that at a certain point, when you get between the biomes, they get too thick, and they tend to really gum up things. That is another thing that will be fixed over the next week, when I just sit here and just, twiddle with the thing, with the Vegetation Studio profile for, about a week. I'll have to go back to the old, work pre everybody file, or at the backside of the church. Now, one of the things that I want to really get done in time for the beta is this cemetery is all wrong. Absolutely, just horribly wrong. The cemeteries out on the islands tend to be a little bit more unorthodox than just a square with a few graves in them. And they also tend to be very tightly packed. If you ever have a chance, once this clears up, there's a graveyard out on Peaks Island. It's called the Old Trot Burial Ground, and unfortunately, it's not. There have been no new graves in there for probably well over 100 years. But you could see they've stuck, PVC piping to mark the grave sites, and oh my goodness, cheek by jowl. I didn't seem to encounter any deer. That's unfortunate. Oh, and look, the hedges here. Oh, well. Let me see. Any questions? Well, here's the thing again, Arjuna. I was wondering, I mean, I've listened to Alex Jones here on and off, probably for about, since the days that he was just a guy in Austin broadcasting out of his bedroom. And he used to be just like your standard, conservative radio talk show host talking about these satanic video games. And I remember this one broadcast he was talking about, the satanic New World Order about Dungeon Keeper. Go look up Dungeon Keeper. It's just like this comedic game about like running a dungeon in a fantasy world. And oh God, Alex, which just went on for, and ever since then, I've been in love with him in a strange way. And I've just on over the years heard him, and I've heard his voice get crappier and crappier and crappier over the years, as you know, the layers of fat and fail have accumulated. No offense if anybody in our audience is an Alex Jones fan. You could consider me a fan in a way, but maybe an anti-fan. I don't know. Oh yeah, Arjuna also did all the fences here. Oh, what was that? Ooh, ooh, ooh! Look at that. We're having some sort of interference there. We'll just talk about that in our next meeting. Yeah, but but going back, I'm sorry, I sort of Grandpa Simpson there. And I'm going to turn down the music a bit. Sorry, it's probably loud. Okay, is that when I tried to write for Alex Jones dialogue, I felt kind of bad, kind of dirty. So what I would do was I would just take one sentence out of an Alex Jones transcript and I would feed it into a neural network that would just finish it. And that neural network did such a damn good job. It made me realize that indeed maybe perhaps Alex Jones is controlled by an artificial intelligence neural network, and we have to find out by whom. I'm on that. Got to do something when you're stuck indoors. I don't know, but it was really crazy that you could just like insert just one line of nonsense, and it would just and Alexander Ellison's dialogue in the radio station is about, I'd say, 2/3 written by machine neural network. Crazy, huh? So yeah, it either takes a certain kind of worms in the brain, or you have to be a computerized neural network. So, yeah. Quality, I made test to check for broken stuff. Ah, cool. Oh, hey, that's neat. One of these days, and look at here. This is another example over God rays. This is just intense, insanely intense God rays there. I'll just step away from them for a bit. And by the way, I forget who the hell Cyrus P. Sweeney is. I think it was just a name that was created by one of these random name generators. That's probably going to be named after somebody who contributed a lot of money on the original Kickstarter. Oh, and Arjuna did these as well. You see the docks are now nicely worn wood, rather than that strangely orange, brand new, you know, fresh from Home Depot kind of lumber. Let's see if any questions have come in. Not a one. Oh, yeah. Well, can I just say, Arjuna, that happened just as the bloom. I think I'm really going to have to tune down the bloom. I mean, on surfaces, on really white surfaces, it just goes nuts. And I think it maybe overpowered it. Let me just, you're going to see, I mean, folks out there, you're going to see a little bit of just bug hunting right here. All right, let's see here. All right. Still some collider issues there. But it was like, oh, yeah, there we went. Let's see. It was back here. Zoom in. Let's see. Nah. We'll get it figured out. Again, I have a feeling these sort of like lags on loading and such wouldn't be happening if the player worked, which is, again, cool. So I'm seeing here we have 20 more minutes. I'm just going to exit out for this for just a sec here. There we go. And by the way, I am keeping it at an hour tonight. It doesn't seem like we have a lot of viewers, but I just want to make sure that you know, everybody's aware that I am heading out in 20 minutes. This is going to be another 2-hour marathon. Let's see. You know, Well, I see. What was I going to talk about? I was hoping you guys were going to bring up topics. Dang it. Sheesh. I guess everybody, just about everybody that's tuning in. Yeah. He had adjusted that earlier, but again, I think it's the lag between that. This is all back end technical stuff. It's going to get sorted out in quick order. So uh, I can see that a lot of the regulars did not show up, and that is fine because not everybody has an obligation to show up to hear every bit of bloviation that emerges from my mouth. But let me see here. If you don't mind, I'm just going to take a quick restroom break, and while that's going on, I'm going to keep Alexander playing here for just about, say, 2 minutes, and I'll be right back, guys. Take, like I said, just a quick bio break. Thanks much, and by the way, I hope you guys have some questions when I come back. All right? So let me just raise the audio levels. Dang it. Oh, yeah. Turn.
Handlers do not want you to know. Oh no. I'm putting the lives of everyone here at the studio on the line by telling you this. These are not mice. They are agents. Stop feeling like you don't have power. Stop feeling pathetic and weak. If you give up, it's your fault. If you don't try it, you can't get back. It's just too hard. Get out there. Don't pretend to be a free man. Just be one. No words necessary. You don't even have to think. Go do stuff. You can do it. No, I need all my listeners to hear this. We've been getting testimonials from all around the world about how Super Blueberry Vitality Formula boosts immunity, helps skin look younger, and detoxes your body of every last nasty brain control chemical, spirochete, and virus that the powers that be are shoving into your body every day. Mayor Erickson, we will wipe you out and save mankind. Yes, yes. But first, I'll have to put an end to you and your slimy buddies. You're part of an evil system, and we're standing up against you. And the Free Island Republic is going to defeat you in the end. Ah!
Yeah. Again, he earned his money. I think I tipped the guy very, very well. So, any questions, guys? Nothing. So I can ask you guys questions. Played any good video games lately? Um, let's see. Maybe I can open up the terrain only, and we could just fly around for a bit. Let's see. Terrain only. There we go. I don't think I'm going to save anything from that because that was just a brand new file. Seen any good movies? Watched any good shows? I'm running out of stuff to watch, seriously. And personally, I just want to bring this up while this scene is loading. Seriously, I do not get what is so great about Netflix. Every time I go there, I mean, there's this guy, I forget his name, but he called television a vast cultural wasteland. That describes Netflix perfectly. I go there and I see absolutely nothing of interest, and I go for something that I'm like, maybe I'd be interested in this. And jeez, good luck, guys. Oh, and by the way, I'm willing to say that now, guys. I'm pretty sure I'm getting somebody going, Eric, are you sure you should be saying things like that? Yes, it's over, guys. Anyway, let's see. We're in the terrain only. How do you fly around here? Now, one of the things maybe in this next alpha, I want to see maybe start asking people to like submit just screenshots of where they go, because what I want to find out is where people are going. If there was some sort of like live, of course there is a kind of live tracking we could do, but it would be very intrusive. But I would just like to find out how many people have found certain areas. What's the most? I mean, I'm pretty sure people just go either in straight lines, as I do, in an open world game, or they go along the roads and then they follow a path, etc. But it would be kind of interesting to find out where people have been. Let me see, one of the places that I've been meaning to get to. Let's see. Oh yeah, we can't, because this is no, that is not it. That is way over there. Yeah. This is something that it is a location in the game. It is actually a old pet cemetery, and it is going to be a location of of importance within the game. But it also gave us a way when we started Kickstarter to if you contributed at the highest level, you can memorialize one of your pets in the cemetery here. And to this day, I'd say probably still every week I get people asking if they can get that premium, and no, you just can't. That was exclusive to the Kickstarter folks. They got the job, they got the project rolling, and it's exclusive to them, and so on and so forth. But that is something probably we're going to want to have done by the beta. I think the beta is going to be a little bit late. Maybe not. Let's see. But thing is this is sort of hidden. Yeah, it's like there's a path that heads off onto it, but I tried to make it a little bit more obscured than anything else. You see, this is the whole island without any of the foliage, and oh, this is so old it still has the cat moon there. By the way, geez, it's kind of crazy how difficult it is to do things that you would think were very simple with a game engine such as Unity. But we're gonna find it. Cat Moon. This is something I've been struggling with for quite a while. But story for another day. Let's see. Any questions? Not a one. Yeah, there was some weird audio when I was gone. Yes, there was. While playing the alpha, I got stuck in the middle of 5 geese. Yes. That is actually one of the just essentially when you start the game, there are going to be certain fauna on the island that are going to be naturally. Oh, sorry, I have this door open. Sorry, Laura. I'm so sorry. Laura's watching television out there, and I just came in there and I left the door open. I owe her a favor now. Sorry, Laura. Anyway, what was I saying? I forget my train of thought. Weird audio playing the office. Stuck in the middle of 5 geese. Yes. There are certain NPCs, i.e. species of animal within the game, that are not going to like you at the very beginning of the game, and one of those is geese. And yeah, that was one of the first routines that we had. One of the first AI routines that Richard did was he created that, and I mean, it was really neat to see it come together. I mean, I told him, yeah, I would like it to surround the cat, just perfectly in the center, and have them surround the cat in a ring, no matter how many of them there are. And it's just amazing that the guy was able to pull that off, and as well as like the invasive species spawning mechanism, which of course is hopefully, yeah, it will be in the alpha. It will be. Let's see. 42. Yep. Oh, what dev software are you using? We're using a whole bunch, but really the main things. Oh, by the way, you can see the new roads here. This is the scene where I was creating new roads. We're using Unity as the central platform, but we're using a lot of software. I mean, Photoshop, 3D Studio Max, what is the Blender? And geez, if I went through it all, I use InDesign and sometimes even Flash to do graphics for the game. Well, now they call it Adobe Animate. It used to be called Adobe Flash back in, the before times. I mean, really, I'm one of those guys that actually paid the license fee for WinRAR because heaven knows I used their software for free for 10 years, and they just kept on going, hey, mind giving us a little bit of money? And no, but you could use it forever. So once I got in a position where I could pay for the full license, we got that. But right now, we are thinking of transferring the audio handler over to, what was it? Fmod, I think it's called. But I know very little about that. We're to handle the AI, we use Behavior Designer. To handle, that's how we handle flocking and just about everything. The player controller, that is, by the time I fully explained it to you, hopefully we will have gotten, the funding we need to move on to a better platform. That was a long and winding road, the player controller, because let me see, I got 8 minutes. I can pull this out. I haven't got any more questions. Connor Munro. And I'm sorry for my coffee now. I mean, I say this every time. I do not speak out loud for extended periods very often, and my throat tends to get dry, and that's why I'm constantly sucking at a beverage. But really, we use just about everything in the entire Adobe suite. I mean, to create, including video editing. Heck, that we could say I use that to create the Kickstarter video that I think now has like 500,000 views or something like that. Crazy viewership on that. And what sucks about that is it shows the game like at its earliest, stage of development. But one of these days when we're not constantly under the gun to produce the next alpha or the beta, which are right now of prime importance, we will be producing a better promotional pieces for the game. It's just that right now, understand that our patrons are paying us to produce the game. They are not paying us to produce promotional videos. So we try to stay true to their, what they. Oops. As you can see, let me see, any other 42. Let's see. 6 more minutes, folks. Hey, what do we got going on? Played any good games lately? Be right back. I'm going to see if I can get my beverage here. Yes. Oh, my goodness. Don't tell me that. Oh, no. All right, great. So, before I go out, and Laura reminds me not to be such a jerk and close my damn door while I'm doing this, we have about 6 minutes. If you guys have any questions, concerns, comments, please bring them up at this time. Otherwise, well, you're just going to have to wait, 2 weeks until you see my ugly face here again. And that time, we're going to have a far more smoothly moving operation. It's getting better with every month. Oh my. It is crazy. I mean, can I just say, since we don't have any questions or comments, I mean, when I started this game back in the day, I mean, I will have to say that this was the point right here where Peace Island, I keep on Freudian slip. The people at Peace Island are going to so sue me. We didn't ask to be in your game. Then I'll be able to not be able to defend myself because I keep on saying Peace Island. But then again, hey, not many main islands get turned into video games. Hopefully, and they did. Hopefully, maybe this will spur their tourist, visits once COVID passes. Maybe we'll be able to get them a little bit of much needed publicity. But anyway, just saying, right now we use a dynamic runtime spawner to create where to determine where all the rocks and the trees appear. And the first time I did this, I was using this just this placement spawner and it just was not doing a very good job. And it would always place everything at a very bizarre angle, about this far above the surface. And after I had placed all those trees and saw, oh, look, there are literally, jeez, I think in the end it was about 5,000 trees that at that time I didn't know about runtime spawners. You see, I was an idiot, and literally at this point, I remember just sitting here and saying, "Listen, Eric, you got two choices. You said, do you want to do a video game or do you want to do a video game?" And because doing a video game will require you, and I swear to God, I did this, taking every one of those trees and hand placing them, including going through each of the rotation vectors and changing those by hand. And I sat there for months doing that. And but this was the point where I was even before I had added the cats, where I was just looking at all these trees and going, "Oh my goodness, how long will it take me? How long will it take me?" This was before any houses, before any, roads, before just about anything. And geez, now to see, I remember there was a certain time where downtown was actually going to end, right here. I think this house here was supposed to be there from the very beginning. Yeah, this guy here. But all of this was added at a certain point because I said, the town is just not big enough. And anyway, and you just go in, and again, sometimes you take a big, long step back, and you're like, wow, holy crap. And you remember the moment that you just started, and wow. And at a certain point, you go, wow, I made this. But, it's great. Thankfully, it's gone to a point now that I have a lot of good people backing Laura and myself up. This is so much, almost as much a project of theirs, as it has been for us. And we've been working on it since for years. And, geez, how far you've gone, how far this has all come. When Deutsche Welle was doing an article about this, jeez, we got one more minute. I was like, oh my goodness, Deutsche Welle is doing like articles about this thing, and it all started with me sitting here, going, well, I have 3 days off from my line job. Maybe I can get about a third of these trees done before I have to go back and make thousands of burgers and bad lasagna for ungrateful customers. Well, no, they were actually good folks. And I promise social media, Christina, I'm not going to be here. I just want to say, the place that I used to work as a line cook is actually still open, even in the middle of COVID, because that place had been there for about 60 years. And there are literally people on that block where that place stands that do not have the ability to figure out how to put tuna on a piece of bread. And as a result, they've been qualified as a necessary business. People have been literally eating 3 meals a day there since they were teenagers, and now they're senior citizens. It's unbelievable. Anyway, guys, all right, guys, thanks for tuning in. And like I said, out of respect for Christina, our social media person, thank you, Christina. And thanks to, again, Arjuna, Richard, Mike Bonifati, Mike Chernowski.